In this email marketing for beginners video, I'm going to show you how I built a highly engaged email list 100% completely for free. So, hey, what's up? My name's Paul Murphy. And if you dig the content in this video that some of this has never been shared before, some of this stuff that we've kept behind the scenes and it's really working, then I want to break down the entire process for you in my 24-hour Google ranking system and give you your first free listing in 24 hours at the top of the two biggest search engines and keep them there for years to come with the magic evergreen traffic system that we developed. So just go to helpmegetleads.com and you can actually grab that. So I can remember starting my first email list back in 2017, and I started my first business in 2002. And I can remember thinking to myself, I don't need an email list. What's everyone going on about, right? It's kind of I don't know what it was, but it took a while for it to kind of sink in. And then I started to understand, Facebook could have developed Instagram, but instead they were buying the database, right? Same with WhatsApp. And then when any company goes up for sale, it's like the value is in the list. And now I'm actually making probably 80-90% of my entire business from my email list. Right, so this is where the money's at, and a lot of people don't realize that until they start developing one. Right, the best time to start one was like yesterday or today. Best time to start one was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. Right? You get what I'm saying. So basically, I just want to show you a couple of things that we've done, and then I'll get straight into it. So yeah, I got in the leaderboard for ClickFunnels 2.0 up amongst these mega marketers, right? And most of that was from my email list. And this, again, I got 7th, and I won a private mastermind with Russell Brunson. And this is Sharon Lecter, who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And this is the typewriter that Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich on. And I touched it, just when no one was looking, I touched it. And I got to speak and present my system in front of Russell Brunson and get a private tour at the Napoleon Hill Foundation. Incredible. Right, and that was just because I used this system. Also, I got in leaderboards for these ones. This one here from my student, and this, and we generated $300,000 in the first year for this product, and it goes on. But as I started developing my email list, I noticed a couple of things, right? And this is the biggest problem right now with email marketing, and that is that when I started to gain leads, within a very short space of time, they were going over to these tabs, right, into people's Gmails. And the reason I knew this is because they pretty much weren't getting opened, right? Weren't even getting anything. And I was like, oh, this is so frustrating, right? And then what I worked out over the years, just with trial and error and trying different things, is a couple of things. And this is kind of something that I don't hear anyone talking about, but it's really important. So the autoresponder now, and so your autoresponder, so whether you're using ActiveCampaign, Aweber Kit, ConvertKit, MailChimp, there's loads out there, right? That is now talking to the emails. So whoever you're sending emails to, whatever service provider they're using, like Gmail, they're talking to each other, and they're doing that in the first few emails, and they're looking for signals. And if they don't get the right signals, then it's going to go here, right? And a lot of that's open rates, engagement, things like that, right? So, they're basically doing this within the first few days. So what we really want is for it to go over there, right? And them to get the right signals going backwards and forwards. And once it's going in here, once they've got the right signals after a few days, then it stays there. Now, again, this is not something I hear anyone talking about, but this is really important. If you actually put this in your business, right, this is going to kind of make you so much more money because now all of your emails are getting opened, right? So what I remember I was speaking at an event a couple of years ago, and I was sitting in the audience while watching some of the other speakers, and this chap come up on stage and he was like, I can't remember who exactly it was, and he said, what is the number one thing that gets your email opened? And everyone's hand went up and everybody was saying it's the title, right? And I actually thought the same thing. I was like, yep, and I've been doing this for a few years. And even I thought, yep, that's the title. So I was wrong. And it actually turns out that it's your name. And the reason why is because at the end of the day, if you go and look at your spam filters now, you'll see most of the stuff that's in there is from people that you've not opened emails from, right? If you go to those promotion tabs here or these ones here, you'll see a ton of stuff that you just not engaged with. right? And Gmail knows that, so it's pushing it over it because it knows you don't really want it, right? So that's the key. So the fact is that when you do recognize someone's name and you open their email, they're more likely to go to the inbox. It's pretty straightforward, isn't it? But again, nobody broke that down to me. But now I understand that. I was like, okay, I'm going to nurture my subscribers over the next 10 days. So when I first get a lead, and I'll show you how to get a lead in a minute, right? But when I first get a lead, I want to nurture them over 10 days. Now, there's no if, buts, or maybe. You have to do this now. Otherwise, you're going to, let's say you're spending $30 over on Facebook to get a lead, right? And you get 5 leads and only one of them ends up going to the inbox, right? That's $150 for that lead you've just spent, right? And it's really hard to run an effective business like that. And that lead's not necessarily a buyer at this stage. You have to get a number of leads to get buyers, right? And that's why a lot of people are struggling. But let's say you get 5 leads and they all become valuable leads, and then you're more likely to get a valuable buyer, right? So you see how that works. So yeah, so we want everything to go to the inbox, and actually by nurturing them over the next 10 days, some amazing things happened. What we actually discovered was that we could build know, like, and trust. So how I did this was I was putting content up on YouTube, and this was valuable content. This wasn't sales content, because YouTube's not really a selling platform. It's more like this video you're on now, I'm offering a ton of value for you, right? That's what people go to YouTube. They go to YouTube to get educated or entertained, right? So I don't do the entertainment things. That's not my thing. I'll leave that to Mr. Beast. But but most of the time we're looking to solve problems. We're looking to deal with things. And it's likely that you came via this video because you said you wanted to learn about email marketing, right? So the fact is that this is what I do. In every single one of these videos, I'm helping people with the problems that they have. And then what we do is we package it into this 10-day course. So instead of creating a lead magnet with a PDF or anything like that, I say, like, get my 10-day course. My 10-day course is going to cover what you've just opted in for, what you've just searched for. And then every single day, as people are coming through this, every single day, we're just delivering value. The stuff that people normally put behind paywalls, we're now doing this, but not because we want to be well, obviously it's great to be ethical and it's great to serve. And it's not just because of that. It's because it's kind of the only way people can really market effectively these days, because everyone is sick and tired of everything being put behind a paywall and being told a load of nonsense, and only to buy it and find out that they ain't really going to get what they, necessarily what they wanted. And what happens is when you start delivering a ton of value, people know that you know what you're talking about. They then want to buy from you, right? Let me ask you this, right? If somebody says to you, who's a friend or family, and you need something, right? I need this. And they say, oh, this one's great. You go and buy it, right? You don't question it. They're a friend and family because you need it, and a friend has recommended it. And you're becoming their friend. You're becoming somebody that they consider friend or family, because all you're doing is helping them. And it's hard not to build know, like, and trust with somebody if you just serve them. Now, that's not to say that these things don't sell, right? We have links to our products and services, but they're just there passively. We're not pushing them in people's faces. We're saying, look, here's a ton of value, but if you want to buy, then you can, right? And this is more powerful than any marketing system we've ever used. It actually accidentally ended up being the best sales process we've ever used. And I've seen all the big marketers use all different types of processes. This outperforms all of them, right? So that was an accidental thing. And by the way, that's in my 24-hour rank system if you want to grab it. But yeah, we started to build know, like, and trust, KLT. And we were then creating that Pavlov's dog response. So every time they see your name, my name, right, they would open. Right, so people would then open. That's how we got those crazy high open rates and click-through rates. And they were all going to the inbox instead of going. And I actually did a survey with my students, said, like, where are they going? And everyone said, yeah, inbox, yeah. Right, and that's because of that, right? So that's the first thing. And then what we noticed was that there were some other things that we could do that would increase open rates even more. So one of the things is that, like, I would create this, like, these things with, like, big logos at the top, and I'd put my image at the bottom, and I'd do all these different things, right? And those emails look great. Don't get me wrong. But you don't want to do those in the first 10 days, because the first few emails, you want to get quite a few people. Don't forget, the autoresponder and Gmail are talking to each other, right? So by in the first few days, we just do completely plain text, right? Now, I also realized as well by doing this, it's like you're getting an email from a friend or family, right? Because that's how they send emails. They don't do all these big templates. So it kind of has those open rates more because of that. But not only that, the actual images trigger the spam filter. So if you put an image in there, it can go straight to the spam filter from the first email. And there's nothing you can do about that. It's like, hang on a minute, I haven't even had a chance to see my open rate. But by removing the images, it wasn't doing that, right? So that was the first thing. And then, so we avoided pictures in those first 10 emails, and then suddenly they shot up. We also noticed that if we use spammy words like make $1 million in 10 minutes or whatever, right? Not that I ever used that, but things like that. If I use kind of spammy sounding words, the autoresponder knows them now. Like they've got AI and everything built in, so they can pick up on all this stuff. So all we had to do there was just rephrase them. So we'd say, instead of saying make $1 million in 10 minutes, we could say generate a healthy income in record time or something like that, right? Doesn't sound spammy, kind of gets the message across, and goes to the inbox, which is more important, right? And then the last thing, and this is the kind of secret little ninja trick, and the reason why I know that a lot of people don't know this is because some of the biggest marketers, when they have products for sale, for promotion, like you could promote them as an affiliate, right? What will happen is they'll give you emails that you can use. They're called swipes. They'll give them to you, and you'll take these emails and you'll basically plug them in and send them out from yourself. And those emails I've like constantly from the biggest marketing industry that they send them to me have got these capitals like free, capitals, like now, right? That straight away will send it to the spam, to the spam filters. And the reason for that is because obviously it's really obvious for them to notice it. And they're just like, okay, this is spammy. They're trying to get your attention everywhere. Now, what you can do is a little hack here. Instead of using the word free like that, you can do it lowercase and then just bold it. And then it won't go to the spam filters, right? And you can also use underline like I have here. You can bold things. You can do italics. I quite often do italics for certain things and just mix it up a bit. And if you mix that up in your emails, then it basically will have the same effect, but it doesn't go to the spam. It goes where you want it to go, to their inbox, right? There's one last thing I didn't include in here, and that is when somebody opts in, you can, obviously you'll have a thank you page. That thank you page should let them know how you're going to nurture them, right? So when you offer this free course or, whatever it is you're offering, on the thank you page, that is your captive audience, right? So wherever they land is your captive audience, and you can set that up in your autoresponder. So once they opt in here, they're going to land on this page, right? So that is your captive audience. And what you want to do is you want to give them a couple of things. First of all, you want to tell them to move anything to the inbox, right? And obviously you're going to nurture them for 10 days. So say, look, over the next 10 days here, I'm going to be delivering all this amazing content. But if you do notice anything, do check your spam folders and just move it to the inbox. And just by them doing that once or twice means it won't go to the spam filter ever again, because very few people are going over here and moving stuff over here, right? And because of that, it's a real big signal. Works really well. Okay, and then after you've done 10 videos, after you've done 10 emails, then it's okay to add images if you want to put an image by your name. I don't tend to add too many, but you can add the odd image here and there, and it's absolutely fine, and it won't really affect it as long as you've built that over the first 10 days, right? So I went from 20% open rate, right, and a 2% click-through rate to these results by just making those changes that I just said. So we had like 59%, 11%, right? 54%, 13%, 43%, 13%. This one here, this is my entire list, this is click-through rate, this is open rate, right? This one here, 55% of my entire segmented list, right, that I sent this to, opened that email. 20% clicked of that entire segmented list, right? Now, you might be getting 20% open rate and 2% click-through rate, and that actually isn't bad. That's kind of standard, right? But just by making those changes that I just went through with you, this is what we went up to. And these are my recent emails. These are the last 6 emails I sent, right? So, obviously it does vary slightly on each one, but you can see the difference here is astronomical. And it's just by making those changes that I went with you. Also, we generated, this is last year, this is from my sales inside of Kartra for my own products. We generated $2.6 million. Again, 90% of that's all from my list, right? Incredible. That doesn't actually include my JV partnerships and things like that, joint ventures and things like that I do with other people, because they are not actually measured inside of here, right? I actually haven't run a single Facebook ad, right, in the last, I just use this system because it actually delivers traffic. I'll show you that in a sec. I haven't delivered a Facebook ad. I spent this amount of money on Facebook ads since 2009, right? And this only shows you 3 years, right? And so if I go into my Facebook ad account now, it will just show me 0 because it only shows me 3 years. This was taken a few years ago, this one here. But I've left it in here because that's the total amount I've ever spent, right? And I've won, those 2 Comma Club awards. I don't do an awful lot of public speaking, but I do get asked to speak at events, and occasionally, if I feel like doing them, I'll do them. I picked up my, double 2 Comma Club award from Russell. Again, all from my email list, developing it with this system. So how do we put this together? So the great thing about this is whatever type of business you've got, you can plug this in on your business. So you're going to offer a free 10-day course at the front end of every type of your business. So if you've got somebody registering for your challenge, you're going to say, register for my challenge and get my free 10-day course, right? Super simple. And then this gets plugged in, and it's basically 10 pieces of valuable content. Now, we use YouTube because it delivers traffic as well. I'll show you that in a minute. But it could be 10 valuable content from anywhere. Like you could have a book that you just break down all the chapters in. You could have a blog or something with lots of content on it. As long as it's 10 pieces of valuable content, then it's going to work. Now, to get the traffic, it'll work from the email perspective. To get the traffic, then we use YouTube. I'll show you that in a sec, right? So that plugs into any system you've got. So if you've got a challenge, you can plug it in. If you've got a webinar, you plug it in. Ebook, you plug it in, right? We've actually pre-built them for most types of businesses. So we've built them for our affiliates. We've got a self-liquidating offer funnel, which is basically where we run a hybrid of ads and we get organic traffic on the back end. We've got a local business rank and rent model. This is application, which also works for coaches, consultants, and people selling online courses, which is a lot of people, and physical products, right? So we've built them. There's some slight nuances for each one, and we've pre-built them from start to finish. And this is what we do by doing this. Right? So obviously, just by what I showed you, that gives you the benefits of the email, but it also, by using YouTube and plugging YouTube videos in here, it keeps videos on page 1 because as traffic's flowing through here, it pushes all the videos up to the top of the search engine, right? So that's how you get organic and evergreen traffic, which we call free ads, right? Which is really cool. You get the highly engaged email list with what I just showed you. It also sells products and services on autopilot without any ads. Get rid of ad agencies, which is cool. You get a completely free lead magnet with no extra work that people use. You get omnipresence with videos showing up 1, 2, 3, and 4. You get a highly valuable email list. So people ask you what your cost per lead is like 0, right? So, how cool is that? You become the ultimate authority in any niche, and you get 100% free retargeting campaign, and increases conversions because you get 20 sale points. And because people choose to buy from you when they're ready, which you'll find that once they come through 2 or 3 of these, they're going to buy. Right, and they hardly ever refund. We don't see really, really low refund rates on this. So if you want to get the full strategy on how to actually build this entire funnel and plug it into your marketing, like I say, I've got that free course for you. Go to helpmegetleads.com. And if you enjoyed this video, press the like button. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me your biggest takeaway. Tell me something that I missed out. Tell me something that I didn't include for you. I want to create better content. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel because I've got a ton more strategies coming for some of the stuff that we've developed inside of our business.